So you want to make a trap song in FL Studio, but you're a total beginner? Fear not, I have just what you need. In this tutorial, I'll be covering recording, mixing, mastering for total beginners. When you look at these words, they might sound complicated and difficult, but worry not, even though you're a total beginner, just follow me carefully and you will most likely manage to create something you like. So are you ready? Let's go. Note, I will be making much more in-depth videos about certain elements of music production in the future, but this is a good start since it will tell you all the basics of everything that you need and you'll be able to come up with a final product. Alright, so after the little intro, we're in FL Studio and we're ready to record our first song. Now, if you're new to FL Studio, if you don't know anything at all, I'm going to go over some things that you're going to need later on, but I will be making more specific videos in the future. I'm going to make like a series of mixing and mastering where I talk about everything in much bigger detail so you guys can start understanding and learning how to mix, master, and basically create your own music. So first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have a beat. Now, if you're just starting, I'm guessing that you really do not know anything about creating beats. So you probably have just like some beat laying around or you found one on the internet and you want to create a song over it. So that's what we're going to do. I have a little beat over here. Sorry for that. I'll call it instrumental. And we're going to add it in over here to the FL Studio. So now you have this instrumental over here. Now we have to put it in beat. So we have to put in the correct BPM. You can put that over here by changing it. Now it doesn't change the actual sound of the beat, it just changes its tempo, so later on when we're adding delay and reverb, everything is added correctly. So how we're going to see the BPM, you can either do it, you have a couple of different ways by doing it. You can detect tempo here, you can click on the BPM over here and you can tap it, so you can tap your tempo, and that way you can manually input it. Or there's a website, it's called Audio Keychain. This video is not sponsored by them, but it's a pretty good website. I've been using it. And basically what you do is you just add your track over here. You upload the track, and by track I mean beat. And when you have uploaded it, it's just going to take a while. And here on the right side, it's going to give you the BPM of the track, and it's going to give you the key which it's in. Now this key is very important, especially if you want to use auto tune, and this site mostly gets it right. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes you're gonna have to do it manually, like see in which key it is, but it mostly gets the job done. So BPM 90. So now I've already put it to 90, so you can change it by like scrolling over here, which you know, so let me just put it back. Alright, so now we're ready to start recording. What we're going to want to do is first of all go to options and audio settings. Here you have a lot of settings and some of yours might differ to mine, but this is how I just keep mine. I'm going to explain a couple of things that you might need. Here you have input and output devices. One of them being FL Studio ASIO, which we're going to use for recording. You can use ASIO for all as well, but that's like a low latency mode, but it's much harder on your computer. So if you have a weak processor, I recommend sticking with FL Studio ASIO. I have this Focusrite USB ASIO that's just for my studio monitors I have here, my studio speakers. So I'm not going to use that to record. I'm going to use headphones instead. So here I have these headphones. Make sure the buffer length is the lowest possible because we do not want any latency or delay, because you're going to have issues when you're recording with delay. Triple buffer, we do not want that on. You can turn that on later if you're having issues. If your like PC is running slow, you can, when you're doing your production, mixing and mastering, you can crank this up all the way up. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Now we can start recording. So in order for us to start recording, we're gonna want to go over to mixer track here, and we're gonna put this little, it's gonna be set to none over here, but you're just gonna click on it and click on, for example, in 1. And now you should be able to, oh sorry, this was not in. Alright, so now you hear me double. I'm gonna turn it off real quick. So if you do not want to hear yourself while you're recording, you can click this little arrow and just remove it. And that way this doesn't get routed directly to the master channel, so you do not hear yourself. If you're using FL Studio ASIO, you can turn it on and you can leave yourself, you can hear yourself while you're recording. But if you're using the regular FL Studio ASIO, not the ASIO for all. I don't know what I said before, but if you're not using ASIO for all, I recommend leaving this off because you're gonna have delay while you're recording, and it's gonna confuse you, and you're not gonna be able to record your lyrics correctly. So once we have this, now you can see that everything gets recorded. It gets displayed on this little bar here, and we're just gonna add some plugins to it to make this sound a bit better. And now I'm gonna talk, as I said, I'm gonna talk about this all much more in depth in the future, not right now. I'm just gonna show you what you need and how you can create your first song. So a much more in-depth explanation about all these things I'm doing are coming in the future. Now just the basics. All right, let's record. Yeah. Huh? Hey. Yeah. What? Huh? Bitch. My name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like to drool on me. Ooh, ooh, dripping in jewelry. This is a foolery. I don't fuck with the popo cause they wanna shoot at me. Garments the finest, my drip the flyest. You know my shit really the hottest. I'm really biased, I'm really vibing. I ain't Travis, but I'll be the highest. Alright, so once you're done recording your vocals, you're gonna have them here. Now, as you can see, there are these little lines over here, and I'm gonna explain what you need to do. So first thing when you record your vocals is, all right, I'm gonna do it for this one. So put your instrumental on a mixer track. I put it on the mixer track too, and I lowered it all the way down so I can hear the vocal. Yeah. So you play it.
Yeah. My name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like to drool on me. Ooh.
You listen to it, you see if you like how it sounds. If not, you record it again. And now if you like how it sounds and it's not really in beat with you, what you can do is you can zoom in with CTRL, and you can hold Alt, and that what Alt does, and you click and move this around. Well, what Alt does, it just lets you fine tune the movement. If you do not hold Alt, it's kind of ruggedy and it snaps, but if you hold Alt, it lets you fine tune it. So what you have to do is you have to put everything in beat. That I did with this one above. So you just push it up, you listen to it, you see if everything is beat, you sing along to it to see that everything's normal and natural. Now, if a certain word, for example here,
yeah, my name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like to drool on me. Ooh, ooh.
Only this part wasn't in beat. So what I did, I clicked on the slice tool and I held Alt. So let me just do this for, if you do not know how to turn these on, I might have said this before, but you just you can click on right click to disable all of them and just enable one, or just like to enable all of them, or you can click on left click and just disable them one or enable them one by a time. So what you can do is you click on the little slice tool.
Yeah, my name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like to drool on me. Ooh, ooh.
You can slice it anywhere, so you can slice it over here, whatever, and then you can move these little parts. But now
my name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me.
You have a problem where you have this little clicking or it doesn't really sound natural. What you can do is you can double tap on any of them and click on the declicking mode and do smooth. And what that does,
my name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like, my name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. My name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. My name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me.
It makes it much more smooth when you're like putting stuff in beat. So that's what I did here. I sliced this one part, and let me just put this back. So I sliced this one part and just moved this around to put it in beat. So I'm gonna work with this one. I recorded 2 more vocal tracks in case I fucked up some words. So for example, if you say a word like a way you didn't like, you can just slice, you can use the slice tool to slice that word from this part, and for example replace in this part. So remove this one and put it over there. You just have to put it in beat. So that's all the logic behind that. I recorded my ad-libs, my backs as well, and now I'm gonna start mixing them. Okay, so while this time lapse is going, I just want to talk about a few things. Talk about the microphone that I'm using to record and the rest of the hardware I have. Another thing, I know this is like a speed through, and you guys want to see the whole mixing and mastering, but it would require the video to be like quite long for me to show you the whole process. So what I'm gonna do is this video, as you can see on the end, I'll explain things and how I did them, but in the meantime this will be just fast forwarded, and I'll talk about other things. In the future I'll upload like more videos in lesser length where I'm gonna explain
everything. So everything, how I do it, what plugins I use, how to use this plugin, that plugin, how to create your vocal chain, what to do after you've done your vocal, etc. So everything from start to finish in like a couple of videos, and that's gonna be a series. So in the meantime, let me just talk about this. I'll pull up the pictures on screen. So I use the Marantz Professional MPM 1000U microphone. It's a USB microphone. Pretty simple, it gets the job done. As you can see, I have it on, like, it's not even a microphone stand, it's a camera stand I have from my friend. Don't really know which one it is. I use the whatever pop filter, gets the job done. And as you can see, when I'm recording, since this is a USB microphone, I have it a bit bent down. I will talk about this more in a different video, but just have it a bit more bent down and talk into the real top of the microphone, because that gets most of the high frequencies and has that crispy sound, while the bottom like part of the microphone is more bass oriented, which is good for voiceovers. So if I were to pull this up a bit now and talk into it, you'd notice that I have much more bass. But I do edit this out, so I do edit the bass out, so I'm not sure how much you're gonna hear it. Another thing I have the Focusrite USB Scarlett. I think it's the second generation. Pretty simple, pretty basic audio interface, gets the job done. I have it for my speakers. I have 2 speakers there. Now for the speakers, I cashed out a little bit. An ER08 by ESL, or ESI, not sure, but they're pretty good speakers. Have a really good sound to them. Studio monitors. So far enjoyed using them. So yeah, that's pretty much my setup, and let's continue with the video.
Alright, so after going through that little speed through and a bit of explanation what I'm doing, this is what the final the final mix for me, just like a quick little beginning mix. I'll give you a short explanation. But most important thing is to deal with what you have, to use what you have. So as you can see, for example, I put 2 EQs here, one just to get out the lows, one to get out the lows even more. Cut out this presence thing a bit, just cutting it, adding frequencies. As you can see, added a sound goodizer because I felt it needed more presence and amp to it. A Maximus to DS the harsh S's and everything. You have the DS or split band, a fruity compressor, now, and just add like 17 dB, so everything that reaches under 17 dB is gonna get turned down a bit. I've left this at normal settings. Fruity chorus, just the default settings. I've added it just so you can so it gives that like stereo effect a bit more, because that's what the fruity chorus does. I mean, what it can do, one of the things. Add a reverb, as you can see. Got the dry a bit down, the wet all the way up, and put it a lot, since I thought that it could use a lot of reverb. You don't have to put this much, it's all experimental. Put in delay so the reverb acts up when a word is spoken. Put a limiter, and in the limiter I use this little threshold knob to, when you play the vocal.
Yeah. My name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like to drool on me. Ooh.
As you can see, the threshold knob is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Fuck, never mind. So the threshold is at the bottom, and basically what that helps me do is just to clear out the remaining extra reverb we don't want, and just to cut out the harsh breaths and everything. But I recommend cutting out the harsh breaths manually using the slice technique I showed you guys. So after the reverb, we have another EQ just to finalize things out, deducting even more bass. I really like to deduct everything over here. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but here I thought I could. I've removed some more frequencies that I didn't like. You saw the way I swept it up and did it. And yeah, I've added a delay, routed this over to the delay channel by clicking the little add button and leaving that there. So now got this all the way down in the delay. You can copy over these settings. I just recommend you playing around with this time knob because that's how when the delay gets played. And make sure to turn the volume all the way down because you do not want any dry delay. Added a stereo shaper just to give that delay some like stereo width. Added an EQ and cutout. This is important. So cut out a lot of the low end and cut out some low mids, but and the highs as well. So you have to cut that all that out of the delay because you don't want sharp delay. You just want to fill in there. So that's with the main vocal. And as you can see from the little time lapse over there, over back, if you were paying attention, what I did was while I was doing this, I was turning down the while I was editing the vocals, I was turning down the instrumental, turning it down and up so I can get the perfect kind of range. What I recommend at the end, if you have a full instrumental, what I recommend you to do is get it to be like get the instrumental to like be peaking at like 6. So don't let it go over. Definitely do not let it touch 0 in the mix stage, and don't let it I mean, this is some advanced stuff, but you don't really have to know this right now, but just try not to get this all the way to the 0. And that's with anything, with vocals, with everything. So when you're listening to them alone, try not getting them over to the 0. The same with the vocals. When you play them, they're going just like above 9, so that's okay as well. We could have pushed them a bit more to get to 6, and that's what I think I'm going to do. So I get it a bit up to the 6. And you can always go back to your mix and just like edit out things and everything. Anything that you hear is kind of weird, it can probably be edited in the mix. So you're gonna learn this over time. If you really want to, if you just want to like make a song, just copy over everything here I did. That's just like a basic idea of what you can do. Now as for the backtracks, I clicked right click, file, say mixer track state as, and just dragged it over. So because these two are full, I dragged it over, and now I just copied over all the settings from the main vocals, which are on track 3 to track 10. And now you can play around with them. You can change some things. You can remove whatever you like I did with these ones. Lowered it down a bit and just added them to 6. Same thing with 7. Which are the ad-libs, just changed them up a little bit as well. I don't want the ad-libs to be too present. Just a little bit.
My name is Lauren and your bitch be full of me. She like to drool on me. Ooh, dripping and
a cool thing you can do if you'd like to add ad-libs to pan, right, and left, you can do this. So hold CTRL, Control, double click this, drag over the timeline, double click this, pan, right click, create automation clip. And now what you can do is you can just drag it up and down. If you like, it's easier, you can do a step over here and turn off slide, and then you can just paint. And now once you're done with that, when you take a look at it, I'm gonna drag it over here, turn this off, put it back to slide.
yeah.
Now I'm not sure if you're gonna hear this, but it goes left and right. So it gives it that stereo feel as well.
Lauren, follow me, drool on me, ooh, dripping and jewelry, cause they wanna shoot on me, garments the finest, my drip the flies, you know my shit, really the hardest, I'm really biased, I'm really vibing, I ain't Travis, but I be the highest, yeah.
Alright, we're good with the mixing stage, so let's move on to the mastering stage. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna save this, we're gonna right click, export, We're gonna do wave file. We're gonna go. I'm gonna put this into the mix master video. I'm gonna call it for mastering. I'm gonna save it there. Now for the exporting, 16-bit, that's okay. Everything here looks okay. Just start. It's gonna do it quick since it's not a very large project. All right, so now that we exported that, we're gonna go to file. We're gonna go to new. We're gonna go that those are my captures. No, let's go to mix master video for mastering. That's what we need. So this is the video. This is not the video. This is the song before that we had before.
Yeah, my name is Lorraine, your bitch be fooling me, she like to drool on me, dripping in jewelry, this is a foolery, I don't fuck with the purple cause they wanna shoot at me, garments the finest, my drip the flies, you know my shit, really the hottest, I'm really biased, I'm really vibing.
As you can see, these like wavelengths, they aren't too big, but they aren't too small. We could increase them a bit more. And now just to get that loudness part, and what I'm gonna do as well, I'm gonna cut out this intro. So all right, so it's here. So you hear for the loop. That's it. And so we're gonna do a quick mastering. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play around with the start of the beat. So all right, so you've seen me play around with the mix, you've seen me play around with the master. This is just a little quick one for the mastering itself. I did two things. I added these like you can do this much better and like much more things. This is just a really basic thing.
Yeah, hey, let me tell you something. Yeah, for all you motherfuckers who wanna know, this me. Yeah, listen. Yeah.
So you got that Chief Keef riser, you got these things just like to, you know, sparked up the beat a bit, and doing these EQ things and changing our frequencies and everything. Just make sure that none of them are like distorting and giving off those screeching noises that we really do not want. Another thing I did, I've added some reverb and added this to both of these, and I finally finished up with the master at the end. Just a quick little thing, EQ'd a few things that I didn't like out, added a limiter, made sure that I made the ceiling to go to 3 decibels, and I saturated a bit. I've put in some kind of gain. I lowered the attack so it happens instantly, the compression or the limiting, and what that did, it just gave it some additional loudness. Added some additional loudness, and then added a multi-band compressor. The multi-band compressor just compresses everything a bit more, and it can like add some gain or whatever you like to do. It can serve as a limiter as well. Doesn't have to be a limiter. We can remove that since we already have a limiter, so we don't need it. Added another EQ. Now, as you can see, it's really compressed and a lot of things happen here, but it should be on the, it should be loud. What we're trying to achieve here is loudness and make everything like, for all the songs you listen online, everything, they're done in these $1 million studios, which really do have a lot of assets that you can use in order to create a radio mixed and mastered hit that's loud enough, that's like really loud, and be still pretty crispy clear. Now, when you're dealing with like lower quality equipment, your things are going to be lower quality too. You might have a really good mix, but you just can't master it to be loud enough and compressed and glued together to sound loud like tracks on the radio. Or you might have a crappy mix or a bit like not that good mix, but you made it in a way where when you add the master and everything, you achieve the loudness, but the mix is kind of crap. And that's basically the whole point of mixing and mastering, to find that balance between loudness, quality, and everything. And that's what all mixing and mastering engineers and everybody who's in that line of work, that's what they learn and strive and gain experience and learn some new things, how to do this and how to do that. And that's what I really want to teach you guys. And I mean, I'm not a professional myself. I'm not in any upper league, any like really upper league that you can imagine, but I do know a lot of things that people really do not talk about in these tutorials online, and I like to talk about them with you. So once you're finished with this, you go to File, Export. If you want to just listen it through, export it as MP3. If you want to upload it, you can do a WAV file. Same things that I'm gonna export this just to show you guys out. I'm gonna call it final product. Of course, you can go back to the mix and change things around and whatnot. But yeah, this is good enough for me. So now we're done with that. I'm gonna create a lot more videos in the future about this. I'm gonna like really dissect everything and talk about it in particular in every video, because there's more videos for you guys to watch, then more in-depth content, and more people can join, because if one person stumbles upon a video, they like it, they can go to the next one and they can watch all these videos, which is good for me as well. So hopefully this helped you something. Hopefully this helped you if you're a complete beginner. Hopefully you saw how I do things, my workflow. I know it's not exactly a step-by-step tutorial. I mean, I do show you a lot of things, and I did show you how I did everything, but nobody in like the mixing and mastering world or anything can really like come up to you and tell you, okay, you got to do this, this, and this. No. Every project is different. Every equipment is different. You have different equipment than me. You're going to have to do different things to compensate for having that equipment, or you might not have to do some things that I did because I was compensating for the lack of this and that in my equipment. So basically, if you're here to start your mixing and mastering and production adventure and career road, whatever you want to call it, it's mostly based upon you learning to make the best possible thing you can with the options and equipment you have, with the resources you have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Future videos are coming soon. I'm gonna play the full track at the end so you guys can hear it if you'd like. And yeah, hopefully this helped you out. See you in the next video. Bye.
Yeah, hey, let me tell you something. Yeah, for all you motherfuckers who wanna know, this me. Yeah, listen. Yeah, my name is Lauren, and your bitch be fooling me. She like to drool on me. Dripping in jewelry, this is a foolery. I don't fuck with the purple cause they wanna shoot at me. Garments the finest, my drip the flyest. You know my shit, really the hottest. I'm really biased, I'm really vibing. I ain't Travis, but I be the highest, yeah.